Thank you very much for that introduction. And I have two difficult jobs. I have to follow that, and I have to keep you from your coffee for a little bit more. So I'll be very brief. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I don't think anyone in this audience needs convincing that multi-sectoral collaboration is essential for solving the world's most complex problems. But as we've learned through the course of this conference and this panel, the path to partnership can often be very difficult. I've been asked to say just a few words about public-private partnership. There's another term and phrase that we've grown to become accustomed to. Encouraging dialogue across the public-private divide and creating sustainable relationships both within and between the various sectors is crucial if we are going to solve the most pressing problems of our time. FIA, Food Industry Asia, was formed 5 years ago on this very premise. And since 2010, we've been working with the food and beverage industry across the whole of Asia with the goal of trying to break down unintended silos between companies, governments, civil society, and to build what we hope are meaningful alliances to co-create solutions together. We discovered, unsurprisingly, that multi-sectoral collaborations can be difficult, especially if there are competing or mismatched objectives between parties, or a lack of consensus or cohesiveness on priority areas. Sometimes having an unclear goal or a poorly defined goal can lead to potential conflicts of interest. This, as you know, can be a deal breaker and should really be the first priority for any new collaboration before they get into the delivery. So when it comes to complex issues like sustainability or public health, nutrition, an area that we work on, the private sector can often find itself at odds with the views of very passionate activists and society at large. The only way, I believe, to solve the inertia in these scenarios is to focus on what we can agree on, rather than focusing on areas of dispute. A good friend of mine, Lisa Gable, calls it the 60-40 rule. If we can agree on 60% of the issues, we can hopefully agree to disagree on the other 40% and focus our collective energy on finding creative solutions and actions. Over the years, and there's been a few, I have determined that there are 3 basic steps that can bring even the most weathered adversaries, like Jonathan, to an agreement. Sorry, Jonathan. First, we need to identify and agree on the problem we wish to solve. Usually, the concept is an umbrella statement, such as stop childhood obesity or solve hunger in Africa. But it's important we continue to whittle the problem down to a very specific part of the problem that we can all agree to focus on. Second, we can utilize a simple process to come to a solution that all parties can support. It's important to recognize that everyone may initially articulate very different approaches to the same problem. But a good facilitator will persuade everyone to rank and rate their solutions in order of effectiveness and what they mean to them. The process sounds very basic, but here's how it works, and I've tried it at various levels, and I really recommend it. You can hand out 5 yellow Post-it notes to a group of, say, CEOs, academics, cabinet ministers, and NGO leaders, instructing them that they each have 5 votes. They can place all their votes on one solution, or they can spread them out across as many as they have votes. This allows you to carve out the approaches that everyone can accept, while putting the other and usually more controversial activities aside. Of course, it's important to clearly articulate which paths would be wholly unacceptable to each party. This tends to be the 40% where we have to agree to disagree. Of course, sometimes opinions are just too far apart. And in this instance, I find it's best to quit while you're ahead and agree that consensus with that particular group of stakeholders may never be found on that particular issue. Move on. We don't have time to waste on disagreeing on the 40. If you can focus on the actions that can be embraced fully by all partners without compromising anyone's principles, this is your key to success. My third learning is that every partner needs a change agent, someone who is trusted by all parties to play the role of honest broker. Most partnerships are driven by a common need, but the collaborative effort is often shouldered by just one entity, at least to begin with. This initiator or change agent is essential in kick-starting a partnership. By having a neutral secretariat or an honest broker to serve as a trusted mediator between partners, you can avoid common conflicts of interest and allow each partner to play to their very own strengths. A partnership can often be initiated and championed by just one sector or partner. However, it is imperative to seek out those shared victories, resulting in a win-win solution for all parties involved. At the offset, the partners should be absolutely clear, not just about the overall goals and how these goals can translate into a victory, but also how they translate into goals for each partner. And of course, by far the most essential ingredient for any partnership is the ability to build trust. And this takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And it can often involve talking about things that are not part of the partnership to get to that point of trust. The success of a partnership in delivering lasting outcomes can be thwarted if there's a lack of trust among any of the individual participants. And that means at a human level as well as an institutional level. You have to have the right people around the table as well as the right partners around the table. At the end of the day, it's inevitable that the lead actors need to trust each other in any collaboration. It's only through having a safe place of trust that partnerships can truly thrive. Now, it is becoming increasingly clear that the concept, the model of public-private partnership or multi-stakeholder collaboration has probably emerged because traditional methods of problem solving just may not be up to the task in this globalized world of ours. So those that have difficulty of working between and with sectors that traditionally they may not have been comfortable with, remember the world demands a different way, a different choice. The current methods aren't working. We have to break down silos. We have no choice. So for those of us in leadership roles, we all need to launch proactive conversations on how to achieve effective partnerships that solve difficult problems while respecting and meeting the individual needs of all stakeholders. This is incredibly difficult, but it can be achieved. I'm tremendously proud of what the 24 companies of FIA have achieved in just a very short space of time. I strongly believe that by doing more of this, i.e. by sitting down and talking to each other and bridging the cultural divide between our various sectors and communities, we can hold each other to account on behalf of society and build a sustainable future that I hope is greater than the sum of its parts. Thank you very much.